Welcome back to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex and today we're taking a look at Tetris Effect connected on the Nintendo Switch. A modern spin on the classic formula. Is it going to be worth your time and how does it all perform on the hardware? Well, hit subscribe if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and let's get started. So we're jumping into gameplay immediately today, and while there is sort of what I would call a story mode, it's called Journey, that story really is up to interpretation. It kind of hits emotional beats without explaining the why. If you do search online though, you will find a fair few fan theories out there. I'm going to keep my explanation of the core gameplay simple then, as you know it's Tetris. You're going to be dropping these blocks of varying shapes and sizes to create lines. These will clear and on you go with the gameplay. You can also hold a single block with a tap of the left trigger, waiting for the opportune moment to leverage it. And of course these blocks, they do rotate. It's a classic formula and one of my first ever gaming experiences on the OG Game Boy. The idea was simple, you know, the game sped up, you racked up a high score and you kept on going until you messed up enough to reach the top of the screen. Here they take that core formula though and they expand upon it for what is one of the best expansions of a classic I've ever seen, paying absolute respect to the formula while adding elements that feel absolutely right. It's not just the visual anymore in single player or expecting like a nice slow ramp in speed. You've got to be listening to the audio design, paying attention to the visual design, because that absolutely influences the game's expectations of you. It's an absolute audio visual assault on the senses, and it adds to what is already, you know, an intense formula if you find yourself at the highest of speeds and of course in a demanding mode. The real new feature for gameplay here though, it's known as the zone. Lower left of the screen, this is built up by clearing lines. Fill it up to the max, pull both triggers, and time will actually freeze, giving you a window to clear as much of the screen as possible without any loss. If you're wondering, but if nothing moves in this moment, how do you clear lines? They actually rotate to the bottom of the screen when you do create them, so these can be key to victory in single player. They can also be absolutely devastating in competitive multiplayer. The only other real gameplay mechanics control wise, you can zoom the camera in with the left stick, a particularly nice touch when playing handheld. Some modes, and there's a whole lot in here. Journey is the story mode, so to speak of, and it's really a challenge of moving through what is a galaxy, taking on increasingly challenging scenarios. The game's overall theme is constellations, and this very much finds you moving through space. The game's rules are unlike anything you've seen before though here, mainly because, as I said, that link between gameplay, audio and visuals means it can speed up, slow down, just be completely random rather than that traditional curve. A beautiful mode though, that all in took me about 2 to 3 hours on normal, but now I'm dialing that difficulty up. The game gives me the option to chase a high score, and we also get online rankings. There's even a theatre mode where you can just sit back and watch the visuals, no gameplay involved. Our next mode then is Effect mode. This contains around 15 options, so we won't be covering all of them, but this is essentially Tetris single player to match your mood. You want to chill? Cool, there's a very simple endless mode with no fails. You want intense? Check out Ultra or Master. How about a spin on the formula? Check out Mystery, that adds in random effects to catch you out, or even a mode where you need to aim for specific blocks. You can even choose then from audio visual themes like the ocean or the world. Every single mode then tracks your high score, and the majority even include online rankings as well. It's doing something different with the formula, but it never forgets how addictive and competitive Tetris should be. The only other thing I want to mention then with Effect mode, this is your first exposure to what is the world map. You get a visual of the world on screen and all the players online circling it. It really suits the overall vibe of the game, and as you progress and level up, because all of these modes, that's kind of a constant gameplay loop here, it goes into a leveling up system. It's going to be rewarding you though here with avatars. That's what others will see here. Now, will you spend a lot of time here? Probably not, but I thought it was different enough to warrant a shout out. Finally then, we're getting multiplayer, and this is where I'm going to be spending the majority of my time now. Tetris Effect came out a number of years ago on other systems. I played it on PS4 initially. This new build though added in multiplayer and even crossplay, and I think it's fair to say this is what the community wanted. Tetris is fun solo, but it's often so much better in a competitive environment. There's 5 modes in total though, so we will cover them quickly. First up, score attack and what's called classic score attack. Classic means old school Tetris, no holding a block, no hard drop. That means when you press up on the D-pad it fires down quickly. Also, once it connects with a surface here, there's no more rotation of these pieces. Score attack, it modernizes the gameplay then, but the overall goal remains the same, that is, the highest score within the time limit wins. Zone Battle then is my personal favourite. This mode is 1v1 and brings in all the new features, including that zone time freeze, and the idea is similar to Tetris battle modes we've seen before. Basically, clear lines to send blocks your opponent's way. At first it will just be about speed for you, but you'll quickly start to develop tactics that include that zone mode and also eyeing up the meter to the left of your grid. This builds up and it gives you an indication of what's about to come from your opponent. The final two modes then are perhaps the most unique spin on the formula, that is connected and connected versus. The idea with this mode, 3 players team up and they work together to take down increasingly challenging bosses. So yes, that is 3 versus 1, that 1 is an AI. Timing things like zone attacks together though and watching your peers will be needed as you rise the ranks. The first is spin to the formula, same thing, but that one player, the boss, is actually now, a player controlled, I guess, entity. In multiplayer then, the only other things with wins, you'll be racking up a level and score, and this will in turn match you with other players around the world at an equal footing. That's really it for gameplay outside of, I want to quickly shout out here the game's use of HD rumble. It's constant, especially in journey mode, it adds a whole lot to the experience, and then there's even a Switch exclusive option called extra rumble which dials things up. Just make sure you're using a controller compatible because it really does add to the whole experience. Complaints? Honestly, none from me. This is about as complete as a package as you can get, and the big one here was tackled adding in multiplayer, and they weren't shy here with a huge variety of modes. My main concern, honestly, going in was, will it perform? Will the frame rate be rocky? And I can tell you now, it is absolutely perfect. So I'm combining graphics and audio for this one because it's such an incredible combination that it would almost feel weird talking about them separately. Visually though, it's going to take you all over the place, and while it's impressive throughout, the highlight has to be journey mode. The blocks, they just change in style entirely. The travels, it's going to take you all over the place. In the background you'll be flying through the sky or under the ocean, and so often then in a split second there'll be an audio cue, it will play out and everything will shift and change, giving everything from that euphoric almost feeling to one of more that is intensity. Then the screen alongside this audio, it starts pulsating as you clear lines, and yeah, as I said, something special. It can often even be intense, but it's very easy to say you're witnessing something special here. I cannot wait to play this game, in fact, on OLED, because I think this is a demo game now for that screen. The music then, it's beautiful, electronic often in theme, but it throws in vocals so often. Its sound design is just some of the best in years, but as a combination of visuals and audio, there's very few games out there that can match what they've achieved here. Check out a track to get a vibe, I guess, of one of the more feel-good moments. I've linked it down below. It's called Connected, Yours Forever. So the final verdict in Tetris Effect Connected is a masterpiece, something I rarely say on the channel. This is actually the 339th review I've done over the last 4 years or so, and it's gonna be my second ever 10 out of 10. There's really nothing else I can add or say to try and persuade you to pick this one up. If you love Tetris, then this is a game you should absolutely be adding to your collection. I'm gonna be stuck on this one for years to come now, as long as the community online sticks around, and with crossplay, I'm hoping they're not going anywhere. Will you be adding this one to the library though, or are you holding onto that cash? With that then, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.